Alrighty, so welcome to week 16 and CIT 93. We are quickly moving to the end of the semester, and today I want to go over the schedule so that you know what's heading at you and can plan accordingly, right? So there's a couple of really important dates coming up, and I'm going to list them here, but I'm going to show you on the calendar itself, okay? So when you look at the calendar, which by the way, if you don't use the calendar, I really think it's beneficial because I know, you can choose which classes you're in and then look at the due dates as they've been laid out. So for our class, right, in this case, I'm recording this the week before the week 16. But there is going to be important things to understand about the 16th and the 19th and the 21st. So on the 16th, if you have not, this is the last date. By noon, you can schedule yourself for the technical interview. Okay. This is way important because this date it only leaves a couple of days for that technical interview to happen. And if I have a lot of students, which I hope I don't, wait till the end, then just scheduling becomes a challenge, right? So I've seen many of you already through the semester, which has been great. And I've very much enjoyed getting to connect with you. But I will say here on the 6th, which is the Tuesday after this week that we're in that I'm talking about, if by noon on the 6th you have not gotten on my schedule, I will place a 0 into the technical interview so that you know the impact it has on your grade. And it doesn't mean you can't schedule yourself. I just want you to know that is the impact so that you can go, okay, you may think it's optional. Well, it is based on where your grade is at. Okay, so just understand that. Now, the other date that's important is the 19th, and this is of the finals week. So by this date at noon is the last time you can both complete and ask me to grade late work. It's also the last date you can use a pass. So if you don't know what passes are, and I think I've mentioned them once maybe or twice, is that if you go into simple syllabus, over here I discuss that you have 2 passes for the semester. At this point, I'd recommend probably using them for project for the decision app because it has the biggest impact on your grade. So consider that, but you can use them up until that date. And if you've already used them, then they're not available. So, and this is the dates listed out. So the final date to submit late work, that's the Monday the 19th. Last day to schedule your technical interview is on the 16th at noon. If by the 6th at noon you have not scheduled yourself, I will place a 0. And then the following Monday, after the end of the semester, I will also remove your repos. So if you want them, if you are working local, no problem. If you're working in code space, you're going to want to think about maybe zipping that repo. If you want to save it for yourself, you can zip that up and load it locally. Come ask me if you have any questions about that. Now, the thing I would say too is that, there's this wonderful feature on Canvas about, how, like if you have a specific target grade you want for a class and you want to know how close you are, that you can go in there and actually input numbers for what you think you would get, let's say for late work. And you could determine what grade you would end up with, assuming you get that work done, or assuming it was late, or maybe you're using passes, however you configure that to understand, because I often get the question, Rio, how do I get this grade in your course? And I always say, yeah, you can do that yourself. I love this about Canvas. Okay. All right, so that's the end of the semester dates. So the last thing I'm going to ask here is for feedback on the AI reviews, and I'm going to hold my discussion on this until week 17 because I could say a lot about these, but I really just like at this point you've now been through. Matter of fact, I looked at the schedule and I don't think I'm going to have any more reviews to the end of for this semester based on the content and where we're heading. But I would love to get your feedback. And I know it's kind of like, when I ask for a graded feedback, students are like, oh, I have to say something positive. No, you don't, right? So that's not the idea. It's just being authentic about them, right? Have they helped you, right? So what's worked well, right? What needs improvement? I definitely know some things that need improvement, and we're actively working on that. Again, I'm going to hold some of that till next week. But I really want to hear from you. Like, is because anyway, again, I'm hesitant because I want you to do this just really authentically. But what needs improvement? Use a heading too for these so that we can distinguish your writing on both of these items, and then do, a substantive reply. So that's how the grading will go for this. Now, looking at the work this week, we are going to return this week to the carbon footprint, doing some coding along, and then finishing out the household water consumption and household purchases, and then we actually finish the whole thing next week. I looked at the way I had solved some of this, and maybe it was next week. I think it was this week. And it was like, I didn't like the way I implemented something in students. And if you choose another way to achieve some of these things, just tell me in the notes, like I chose a different process. As long as it works, I'm going to be pretty much okay with it. And then you have your final step on the decision app. And really, this is taking something you listed in this case, in week 15, because I had you do a to-do list. Take something and implement it, right? And prepare it for the final, because what will happen here is the final discussion will be a finish and share. So you'll share out your apps and show everybody else in class what you've been working on. Okay, so that's what's heading at you. And I think that's it. I'm going to try to keep this short. I know it's unusual for me, but I'm actually going to try to keep this short. Thanks so much. And then it's time for me to actually try this week to get week 17 done so it could all be finished. Please ask any questions about the end of the semester. That way you're not surprised when things happen, and now is a great time to get on the technical interview schedule. Now is a great time to get caught up, because it's just going to go so quickly from here to the end. All right, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you later.